This podcast has been recorded in front of several cats, one dog, and a handful of farm animals. From Rochester, New York, the home of hundreds of thousands of disappointed lottery players, this is FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky, and everything can be geeky if you love it enough. Starring Billy DeTore, starring Tanya Metris, starring Dan Carmen, and also guest starring on the side because he's really not that as important, Chris Frank, the host. Yay! It's Chris. How you doing?
Yay! Who is this Chris Frank person? I don't know.
I don't know.
You have a real Kermit the Frog vibe when you do that.
Oh, do I?
Yay!
This is not something air like Kermit would do, and his.
I'm going to start flailing around. Yeah, the next time I do that, I'll do the Kermit flail.
I'm going to watch the Muppet Show now. Come on.
That's exactly what made me think of it. I'm excited. Yep. Disney Plus is going to have all 5 seasons of the Muppet Show soon.
Now, we've talked about the Muppet Show in the past on Monkey Business, but I'm thinking in lieu of the fact that it's going to be on Disney Plus, we should probably try to do some sort of watch party and pick a couple of episodes and just kick back and talk about it again, because it's going to be fresh in our heads for a change of pace.
Yeah.
Instead of reminiscing about what it was like. There you go.
Crazy guests they had and everything.
I remember an opening when they had Paul Simon and they were doing the whole backstage shtick, and one of the roadies was causing a fuss, and Paul Simon looked over at the guy behind the desk and just reached over and yanked this lever, and the guy just went flying up into the fly space above. and Paul Simon goes, 50 ways to love your lever.
I have a feeling I'm going to like this show even more than I did, 4 decades ago or however.
I think we're going to understand the subtle jokes better.
Yeah.
They put so much stuff into them.
Mm-hmm.
So is it February something is what I see?
Yeah. I saw that. So, Tanya.
Yes.
You
I went on an adventure.
You created a fashion disaster. No, I mean it's not a fashion disaster.
It's not a fashion disaster, but
you
I helped.
And blue.
I did. Part of her hair is blue. The top, her earlobe, the curve of her ears are blue. Some of her neck is blue. Part of her kitchen was blue, including the floor. I've got some blue marks on my hands after I had taken my gloves off.
I would call her Smurfette, but Smurfette was Billy. She was blonde, not white-haired, right?
Right.
And so it was a blue-bodied, white-haired, lady.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Anne had wanted to. She's had a love-hate relationship with her washers at home. They keep.
I'm gonna just pause just for a second, because any story that starts with "we're buying a clothes washer and we're going all the way to now your hair is blue," this is going to be fun. I just want to point that out right now.
Well, yeah. Well, it was funny how I don't even know how that actually happened, but Anne's like, well, I need to go appliance shopping, and she's like, you want to come with me? We were talking on Wednesday after Comic Chicks and Book Club. I'm like, yeah, I go, but on Saturday I have a hair appointment myself at 10 o'clock. And so she's like, okay. She's like, we'll do it later that afternoon or whatever and go for dinner. I'm like, okay, perfect. So she does a lot of research online and finds that if you just want like a basic washer right now or appliance, you got to figure out what ones are currently in stock, because it'll take you like 8 to 12 weeks to get any appliances, if not like 3-4 months ordering stuff, because they don't have a lot of in stock because of the pandemic that's been going on. So we went to Rochester Appliance, which is in the Genesee Regional Market off of Jefferson Road. She'd already researched, and she's like, okay, done, whatever. Bought the brand new washer because the last couple have been used and they just haven't lasted so long. Like her current one's still working, but in order to get it to start spinning, she's got to reach her arm in there and start the agitator.
Yeah, kickstart it.
Got to kickstart it. It's not a good thing. Yes.
That sounds dangerous. Like sooner, her nickname will be Lefty if she keeps doing that.
So she's like, okay, done. She's like, I have to go to Walmart and pick something up. And she's like, where do you want to go for dinner? I'm like, we weren't sure. So we opted. I go, what time does Crave 360 open? We're like, okay. She found out 4 o'clock. Okay, not too bad. It's like 2:27, 2:40, something like that. So we go to Walmart over in Gates. She had to pick a couple things up, and I was wandering through. I'd already done my shopping at my Walmart to get red velvet cake for Tyler's birthday today. We're wandering through and she's like, oh, I got to get hair color because I want to get the pink out. I want to redo my hair sometime. I'm like, okay. So we go down the hair color aisle and we're looking at it. I'm like, oh, take this color. And she's like, what color should I do? Well, first problem is she let me pick the color. that was the first problem.
This is where we get the moment of Morgan Freeman narration. At that moment, Anne realized she had made a mistake.
She's so adventurous. And she's colored her hair different colors, and she's always have done it herself. So I'm like, okay. So she's like, get this one. I'm like, okay. So we grabbed that splat box. It was called Pure Sapphire. Put it, and then she's like, oh, get a second one in case I have to need more to lighten the pink and red that was currently in her hair, or the peachy color. We go to dinner, things like that. Dinner was absolutely fantastic, and there was a whole story about me and poutine, which we can save for another day. But I'm like, oh, we're going to have dinner and play beauty salon. I was just messing with her, thinking that she was not going to want to do it last night at 6 o'clock to color your hair because it's going to take like 2.5 hours.
Right.
She's like, sure we can. I'm like, yay!
And the rest is history.
So we worked on bleaching her hair first, and
you do.
And it was a whole sorry not sorry Brad Mondo. And for any Facebook listener out there, Brad Mondo is a hairstylist that critiques home videos of people doing their hair. And
okay, I'm sure there's something for everybody in that one.
Yes. So if you Google or if you Facebook Brad Mondo, you'll see him going, oh, live your extra life and things like that. And like half of my students that my female students, they're like, even some of my male students that do stuff with their hair, they're like, oh yeah, we know exactly who Brad Mondo is.
Gotcha.
So, and Anne knows who he is, and so we were dying, laughing hysterically as we were dyeing her hair. But to make our long story even longer, because that's what I do, because I talk.
It's okay. We still love you anyway.
Proceeded to make her kitchen floor, her kitchen counter, part of her sink, her ears, the back of her neck, and part of my hands. Pure, pretty sapphire blue teal color. But everything has come off the floor and the sink in the counters, but not necessarily off my skin or her skin yet.
I see.
Because acetone nail polish remover is awesome at getting stuff up.
Okay.
Except for doesn't necessarily take marker off your skin, but it'll dry it out. But
now we have a blue-haired young lady.
Yes, and she is rocking the color. So those that are Facebook friends with her, or if not, just go and jump over to her page and check out Ann Liebeck, and you'll see her rocking blue hair today. Which
actually, I just came across it, and it's a much lighter blue than I imagined, because Susan has dyed her hair blue, and it was like a dark blue, and this is. At least these pictures look sort of like aquamarine blue.
Yeah, let me send you I'll sending via the messenger group what her hair looked like with the dye, and then you can see her ear and her skin of the blue dye. You
want to be able to get the whole experience.
The whole experience. So that's what I'm showing you guys what the color looked like when I first put it on. You can see her ears and her skin, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. She goes, that's okay, it'll eventually come off. I'm like, I'm sorry. So there was a lot of sorries involved, but Chris
could be an avatar.
Chris was getting the play-by-play of the pictures throughout the afternoon/evening. He's like, oh boy, because I sent him the picture of the box. He's like, oh boy.
But the important thing is you had fun, right?
We had a blast. And while we were waiting for her hair to lighten, we decided to watch season 1, episode 3 of Wonder Woman. And boy, was it bad. It was bad.
Not aging well, huh? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
I was like, oh. Wonder Woman with a mask on, like a gold mask. I'm like, really? And there was 2 of them because they were trying to capture Wonder Woman to get her powers.
Well, of course,
and they were using chloroform and her own lasso against her. So
wow.
yeah. So
well,
yeah.
that's a thing, isn't it?
So I'm surprised Ian's talking to me today. So that was my adventure yesterday.
Much more exciting than mine. I had none.
Yeah, me neither. We watch TV.
I can tie your hair too.
Nah.
No.
No.
That would be an interesting stretch goal or something.
I have like temporary purple hairspray that washes out with one wash, so I could do that.
Nice. So here we go.
Yeah.
We got a Patreon coming up where basically if we earn enough money in a particular goal, then Dan, Billy, and I have to get our hair dyed.
Yay!
Sure. I got the dark hair. It doesn't dye that easily, I don't think, does it?
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll lighten it first.
Oh.
No, not mine.
No, that's
I
not
wanna
part
keep
of the goal.
That's not part of the goal.
Yeah.
I know. I was just thinking about your hair, Chris, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole with any lightener.
Yeah,
No.
that would destroy it. I think pretty much, right?
It would make it so straw-like in texture. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it.
So we'll settle for we're not saying how we would color it. So we would use with those temporary chalks or something that kids play with.
They do actually have hair chalk.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's what I was talking about.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun. See, I actually know what I'm talking about. I am the parent of a nearly former teenager.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say a 14-year-old. I'm like, what?
I was about to say former teenager, but then I realized Jules hadn't hit 20 just yet.
Yeah. This year, though.
This year.
Oh,
I know.
boy.
I'm losing a teenager this year.
My baby turns 22 today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So.
I've already told him I suggest he has a good birthday today.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, and he's got to wait to see if he gets a really, 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 really good present, but it has to wait until the end of the day.
What would this be? A bottle of tequila?
No. A Bills win would be a really, 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 really good present for him.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, they're going up a fully powered Kansas City, so that should be interesting.
Is Mahomes clear?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So it's going to be the best of the Bills versus the best of the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're going to see what happens.
Well, that's what you want. You want a good showdown there.
You want to go?
I believe the phrase is "any given Sunday" is the catchphrase that football fans use on a fairly regular basis, and the scales are tipped in Kansas City's favor, obviously, but this Bills team has been digging deep and shooting for it. So who knows?
With the opening act, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Battle of the Bays.
Battle of the Bays.
Green and Tampa.
Well, could you imagine if it's a Bills Bucks Super Bowl?
Oh, see, that's what I was thinking of. That's why I was just about to go there, because wouldn't it be the Boston Red Sox diehard fan in me loves curse breaking, and they had to beat the Yankees to get to the World Series that they did it, right? So for me, there's a fitting poetry to the fact that if Buffalo somehow gets past Kansas City, which is a likely possibility, and that in order to make their first Super Bowl win ever, they have to get past Brady, their nemesis for the past freaking 15 years. There's poetry there. That's the story writer in me is going, this is going to be interesting. This has to happen. So
I've been rooting for it. I'm not a Brady fan, but I really appreciate the fact that I've been able to watch who I think is the greatest football player of all time play for the past couple decades. And and like you said, the Bills, or he's been the Bills' arch nemesis. So I think it'd be fitting if they met in the Super Bowl when they wouldn't have been able to before because they're in the same division for so long.
So interesting, strange things are afoot at the Circle K. Anyway. So regardless, we should be seeing some good sports ball.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I'll have DeBella subs that I have to order after this for the game later today.
Well, that's nice.
And I'm on a liquid diet today, so I'm glad to hear
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
You're
Is it your clear liquid diet?
Yes, my clear liquid diet.
Is Miralax part of that diet?
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
And your 64 plus ounces of Gatorade?
Yep.
Oh no, Dan.
Honey, I totally can empathize with you because I just went through it a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the ending of
his ending is going to be a lot different than my ending.
yeah,
Literally at the end of this. Tomorrow it's literally going to be a different ending.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh.
I got to tell you, throughout all of this, when you first told me about what had happened, what the original cancer diagnosis and everything,
Mhm.
I went into a tailspin for a moment or two because I just had no freaking clue what I was going to do. Right? I'm like,
Mhm.
I have no idea how to. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't want to do. I want to make sure I'm not, making things worse by making stupid commentary. And then it just occurred to me, no, this is what's expected to me. I am the best friend. I'm the brother. I'm therefore it's all bets are. I have to be the one making the stupid ass comments, literally stupid ass.
Literally,
stupid
ass.
And
it has to be the butt of the jokes.
And so of course,
Yep.
Yeah. So he and I were talking about his feelings, and understandably so. Dan is going through a thing right now because this is serious. This is intense, and it's a bit on the crazy side. And it's life-changing on so many different levels. And that's valid. And all these feelings he's feeling are valid. So what did I do yesterday? I sent him a link saying, ask me about my butthole on a t-shirt.
I love that.
It was the image of a UFO beaming a guy up out of a cornfield. But the caption was, ask me about my butthole. And I'm like, sure, I'm going to send that to Dan because I am the kind and understanding best friend.
So you're sending me a link so I can buy it for him, right?
Yeah.
In times like this, we need a laugh. I mean,
that's what I'm hoping on. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's hard, and it's really. I'm struggling emotionally to get through this, but I know this is what I have to do to get through this to make sure that I get rid of the cancer. And
right.
I don't love it by any means. I don't want to do it, but I know I have to do it, and I'm going to do it. And whatever happens afterwards, then I'll deal with. To help deal with it, it's good you have to kind of laugh at it too.
Make a laugh, make a laugh. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and I've said it before, and I want to say it in public. You, sir, I have always felt this. You are one of the bravest human beings I know. I mean, yeah, socially awkward, sure, we all are to our own degree, and there are days where you just, you're like questioning your own existence, which is weird to me, but I've tried to help you through that too over the years. But then there are the times we just look at the scorecard, and it was funny because when we were at that party or we were, I can't remember what the occasion was, but it was within the past couple of years, you and I were talking about, what's going on, and people were making assumptions about us because of our various personalities that they see automatically. And I'm like, well, okay, let me ask you this. Of the two of us, who's the one who's gone skydiving? And everybody looks at me and I just point at Dan. And I'm like, okay, which one of us has gone bungee jumping? Everybody looks at me and I point at Dan, right? I mean, he's the one who's been the daredevil. He's the one who's been when he has this.
Watch out for the quiet ones.
Watch out for the quiet ones, right? And
they never know what they're plotting.
I can't even imagine what would be happening to my mental state if this were me going through this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be very honest. I don't think I'm being melodramatic by saying I would have broken 5 times over easily because of the decisions you've had to make. And you're not cruising through it. You're having your ups and downs with it, man. And I get that. But dude, you're facing it with such dignity and just kind of just going with it.
I made the decision early on that I'm just going to tell everybody, because it's like one of those. It's a private thing, yes, but if I can help somebody with it, but just kind of sharing the load type of thing too. Just getting it out there, not holding it in, getting it's telling people this is my struggle. And I was I've been very more open than this than I thought I was going to be with it, and just this is what I'm going through. This is how my radiation's going, how my chemo's going, this is how I'm feeling. If I help somebody, that's great, but just letting them know this is what, this is stuff that happens. This is not an uncommon cancer that I'm getting. Where it is not in an ideal place. It's not, not the best place. So I'm going through some more struggles, and maybe some other people were with this type of cancer, but colorectal cancers are fairly common. I don't know if it's where it ranks in, behind like breast cancer and stuff like that, but it's up there. So, if I can tell people to, look out for this stuff, this is what this is what it actually means to get cancer in this case, then that's good. I put out, I didn't do a lot of TikTok, but I put a TikTok video out about it, a few of them.
Done a series of them, yeah.
And, they got, but it's just, huge outpouring of support, huge outpouring from people who have gone through this already, which has helped me a lot too. I've got this, I got the bag, I've got this and that. And, I'm still living my life and this and that. And other people with cancer have reached out, and it's a very interesting journey. It's not a journey I wish on anybody, but if you got to go through it, then, definitely there's people out there that have gone through this before, and they'll help you. And there's people, there's support out there. And yeah, I mean, it just opens it up, and and this way I don't have to keep a secret either. Just not telling people or only telling a few people and everything. It's like, this is my life now. So
yeah.
It was the decision I made. It was hard. It was hard doing that for the very first post about this. It was very difficult, and I was struggling with it. And I wrote it, I rewrote it. I just like, okay, is this what I want to say? And then I hit that send button. It's like, okay, sit back and
now it's out
see
there.
What happens. Yeah.
That's definitely, and it's been such a huge thing, and I appreciate the fact that you brought us in on that journey. Like you've made us a part of it, and I. We talked about this the other day. I'm absolutely overwhelmed at the response you get on your TikTok videos. I caught one the other day, and one of the most recent ones, and just watching it, I'm like, are these people his TikTok friends? And there's folks that are just watching it at random, who just picked it up and are like, okay, cool, we're going to put our 2 cents in and let this guy know he's not alone. I'm like, no, I wept like a little baby. It was really cool to see. It was just amazing.
It definitely is emotional there, but this whole going forward. Tomorrow is the big thing. Tomorrow is I go into the knife. So by the time this podcast airs, I'll have gone over, and I have no idea what the outcome's going to be tomorrow. It could go a bunch of different ways. So that's kind of the scariest part right there, is I'm not 100% sure what to expect from this.
Right.
Because they think they can't tell until they get in there what exactly they can do. They think, they're going to try to do it this one way. They're going to try. Either way, they got to cut out the cancer. So the one part we know what's going to happen is they're going to go out there, cut out the cancer, which includes the rectum, part of the colon, whatever, all the areas around it, and they have to give enough area around where the cancer was to make sure that they get the cancer. So it's not just right up at the line of the cancer. They have to cut out some good stuff too.
Right.
And it's right around where your anus is, your sphincter. So the hope is that they're going to be able to take, basically pull down the colon or whatever and stretch it out and attach it to what's left of the, down there. So maybe someday in the future, I'll be able to get, not too far in the future, I'll be able to use that exit channel from my body again.
Okay.
But either way, either temporarily or permanently, they're going to stick an pull out my intestine through my stomach.
Which sounds comfortable.
Which is kind of a weird thing to think, but that's, so they get, you hear about the, ostomy bags, the bags, people, but it's your intestine they're pulling out through your stomach, so I get a little piece of my intestine is going to stick out, and that's going to collect my residue. It's gonna be my new exit channel for at least a while, if not, so it's just a bizarre thing.
The terminology that I'm hearing, and I get it's all the professional stuff that the doctors are telling you, but the residue and the exit channel, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to say, I'm not afraid. I'll say, holy shit, dude.
Well, I mean, the name of what I'm getting itself is just crazy. It's I got to look it up again because
well, the first word was robotic, which makes it absolutely badass, in my opinion.
Robotic. it's robotic low anterior resection with coloanal anastomosis loop ileostomy. That's the whole. That's basically describes what they're doing. So it's
and
like,
a partridge in a pear tree.
So it's like it's crazy too, but yeah. So I mean. This is it's not an uncommon procedure. It's not this, but yeah, it's not something that anyone should look forward to. But you can, however it goes, I should be able to live my life, relatively easily after this. Once I get used to all the change and this and that, I'll
Mhm.
be able to run again. Even
Yeah,
if
I was gonna ask you
with
about
a
that.
bag. It was one of the first things I looked. Can you run with a bag? Can you run with an ostomy bag? And yes, you can. You just gotta your belt to support it and stuff like that
Yeah,
to
just
make
gotta
sure
strap
that
it down, I assume.
But yeah, and there's a whole bunch more stuff I won't get into here. But so it's gonna be interesting after tomorrow.
Well,
So, anyways, liquid diet, fun.
yeah. Well, we can safely say that right now, at this moment in his life, Dan Carmen is definitely not full of shit.
Well, I am right now, but we're making sure I'm not by tomorrow.
And this has been FC3's Monkey Business. No.
We are not full of shit. I'm monkey. So, anyway, so I do. Good time for a break, I think.
Okay, let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll have something else to talk about. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, all points in between. We love you. We miss you. We hope you guys are all doing phenomenally well right now. It's a new day, right? So we had the change in history last week, or this week. Was it this week? This week.
It was last week since we're recording.
This is recording on Wednesday.
By the time people hear this, it'll be exactly a week.
Yeah. Time blurs at the moment. It's just kind of wild to see how things kind of shift and change and whatnot. And now we're just moving off in a different direction. Now we'll see what happens.
The ceremony and the nighttime virtual concert I thought was amazing.
Yes, I agree. That young lady who was the poet laureate at 22 years old, and just people's jaws were dropping around the world. It was just amazing to watch. So and we have a press secretary that lays it all out for you straight up. This is what's going on.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would have lost my bet. Will Jennifer Lopez ever cover Woody Guthrie?
It'd be interesting.
But she did a great version of "This Land Is Your Land."
Yes, she did.
Inauguration.
Yes, she did. She did a wonderful job. Everybody did. Gaga was fantastic.
She
just
was
belting it out,
wearing her Hunger Games dress.
Yes. Apparently, the pin she was wearing is indicative of the logo for one of the charities that she supports. But everybody went Mockingjay on her. It's like, okay, that makes sense. So. What were we talking about anyway? We've kind of covered some bases so far today.
I think we were going to do like some Ask the Nerds type stuff because
Ask the Nerds type stuff. Hey, let's fire a couple of questions off and then we'll call it a week. But these are always fun to kind of like just share and have some thought-provoking conversation.
Because we decided that when we actually plan something, technology and stuff gets in our way.
Oh my God, I did. I had that lovely proactive meeting a couple of weeks ago where I got everybody on Facebook. It was great to see everybody's face. Okay, cool. So on this Sunday, we'll do this. On Sunday, we'll do that. And this Sunday, we'll do that. And none of it has worked at all.
2 weeks have gone down the train. So.
It has all gone to hell in a handbasket.
Well, we had good intentions. So
we did. And it's just practice makes perfect. We'll keep planning. We'll keep working on that, and eventually we'll get back to knowing what we're doing. Yeah, right. Anyway,
and we're hoping that next week's recording is all the snacks and stuff for Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, next week is going to be Nerd Culinary, and we're going to. Oh, hang on a second. Yes, Juno is speaking to me. What? You don't like being in the office with me? All right, fine. Go play. Go chase your tail. I know you don't have one, but go chase one anyway. Don't look at me like that. I can't help you. I'm busy. So.
I just had to look over while you were doing that, and I have a black cat just staring at me.
Because Susan was snuggling with Pie.
Yes, she's upstairs with Pie right now.
The life of Pie.
Yeah, exactly.
And Pie was purring because while we were waiting for everything, I had
turbo purring, mind you.
I had the video going on my Facebook.
He is the most. He loves people more than anything. He'll cuddle with us for hours, but he hates cats.
So he's basically the feline equivalent of me. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate
Okay.
cats. I used to hate cats, but I've
Yeah.
gotten over that. I do like the occasional kitty these days. Although Molly is kind of really pushing her luck with me lately.
Well, she wants to steal your dice, doesn't she?
Well, it's gone beyond that to the point where I can't even pet her without getting bit. It's like, this is getting a little ridiculous. I'm trying to be nice to you, and you're like, "Meh." All right,
Yeah, I
whatever.
Is she in heat?
I think she's getting past her first
Mm.
at this point. So the kids are talking about getting her spayed so that she can settle in a little bit better.
Mhm.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Hmm.
Yeah. I have repressed my thoughts of, flying kitties in the house.
Steve Martin used to do a bit about cat juggling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but every time I hear the name Steve Martin, the first thing I think of is the Cruel Shoes.
That was great. Yeah.
I don't get that reference.
It's one of the Steve Martin bits. It's one of his classics.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just basically a shoe salesman, and this one customer goes through everything that he's got, and he's like, all I have left are the
The cruel shoes.
And then he goes in this description, this like 10-minute description of these pair of shoes that are basically part torture device, part fashion disaster.
Oh, okay.
And the customer ends up taking them in the end, I believe. So,
I like them.
Okay.
yeah. It's not British humor, so there's actually a possibility you might find it funny.
Oh, okay. I understood that.
I got that reference.
I know last night we were gonna like put a Marvel movie in or whatever, but we're like,
Mhm.
no, we really have to watch the time in regards to Anne's blue hair, so couldn't do that. Yeah.
I watched Infinity Wars and Endgame the other day, back to back.
I got to do that. I actually want to start with Age of Ultron because I want to build up with Wanda and Vision. So
Yeah.
I can eventually watch WandaVision, which isn't getting great reviews from what I see.
Well, it's because people aren't understanding it, and
Mhm.
but here's the thing: I will be honest with you, I freaking love it.
Good.
Did you watch the
enjoying the
third
hell out of it.
episode?
I watched it. Yeah, because when you said you weren't going to be able to come over, I'm like, I just might as well just take it in and see what happens.
Yeah,
And-
it's
and
definitely
so-
developing more. Yeah, the third
Yes.
episode.
I think what it is it's Marvel has gotten to the point now where they can start just throwing them out there and telling stories and not worrying about the commercial aspect of them because they don't need to make blockbusters anymore, right? They can make stories that go somewhere and have an interesting kind of tangent to it. And I think what you're seeing is this really cool piece of storytelling, and people are getting lost in the surface. They're not looking past the surface at the moment.
They're not looking at
looking
all
at-
the little hints. that are in
Exactly.
there.
They're not looking at the hints, they're just looking at the surface. There's something really wild going on right now. And it's so cool to see how they're telling the story. It's like, this is not episodic television. This is a linear story, right? People are, I think we've had this talk, but Americans are just so used to feed me the episode of the week. And I will make my own conclusions, walk away. Right. And this is definitely, we've had Lost, and we've had some other really cool thought provoking stuff out there that didn't have that kind of episodic feel, and people are getting used to it, right? But they're not quite there yet. They don't know how to accept it. It's, at least this is completely my opinion. But the more I've been watching WandaVision, I'm like, this is interesting. It's very groundbreaking in the way that they're developing this whole overarching story. There's going to, towards the end, I'm getting the sensation that towards the end, all of this is going to break, and you're going to get your usual, monster of the week hero kind of episode, but it's going to be something that will actually wrap up everything you've been seeing. It's going to make the whole season look, oh, okay, that was neat, right? That's my hope, But the reason it's like Bill Horse Cotter, who's amazing at putting his 2 cents in on everything, and it's great to get his opinion on stuff because he has this really cool way of looking at things. And he watched the first couple of episodes. He's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, for Bill to say that, because Bill's smarter than I am. I know that for a certain fact, right? And so, but wait, you got to look past. I think what he's doing is overanalyzing. Honestly, I think he's just overanalyzing it, and that's where you miss the deeper stuff. And there's something really cool going on. I almost am ready to make predictions, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think episode 3 really adds a lot more. I mean, the first 2 it was just kind of okay. I know there's something, but I'm not sure what it is. So I'm studying the episode. But the number 3 brings in a lot more. Okay, there's definitely something else going on. What's happening here? So yeah.
Next week is going to almost completely unravel it. I'm pretty sure that next week you're going to see everything kind of. Or it may not be completely unraveled, but you're going to see enough that you can start putting your own kind of spin on what's going on at the moment and get it figured out at this point.
Yeah, I mean they did a lot on the third one there too. Yeah, so I can definitely see the fourth one. Okay, more is coming apart there. So
yeah.
So that's kind of neat. Where were we? I was.
That's the question of this episode there. Yeah, where were we?
Where were we? Wait a minute. I was talking about something. Oops, I did it again, didn't I?
We're doing what we do.
We
talk until we forget what we're talking about.
And then it's the tangent.
We're taking the train to Tangent Town. Choo choo, baby, choo choo. Okay.
Wow.
Actually, I think it started somehow with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the cruel shoes.
The cruel shoes. And then
Carlo disappeared into the back room for a moment, then reappeared carrying an ordinary shoebox. He took off the lid and removed a hideous pair of black and white pumps. But this was not an ordinary pair of hideous black and white pumps. Both were left feet. One had a right angle turn with separate compartments that pointed the toes in impossible directions. The other shoe was 6 inches long and was curved inward like a rocking chair with a vice and razor blades to hold the foot in place.
Ow!
Carlos spoke hesitantly. Now you see, they're not fit for humans. Put them on me. Put them on me.
This is from his book, Cruel Shoes, correct?
Yes. I'm dying just reading it. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's because Steve Martin has this wonderful way of delivering things too. He's got that smooth kind of delivery. Bless you, by the way, there, Tanya. Tanya, fabulous.
I lost my headset.
Oh no! She sneezed so hard she sent her ears flying.
No, I pulled my headset away from my face and stuff so I could sneeze, and then it fell off my head.
The next lines. Carlo knew all arguments were useless. He knelt down before her and forced her feet into the shoes. The screams were incredible. Anna crawled over to the mirror and held her bloody feet up where she could see. I like them.
Ow! Oh, my toes are just curling thinking about it. How? And I've got very sensitive feet too. How?
Oh, I know. I've always been wanting to test this out. I think that if you think about touching Tanya's feet, she starts squirming.
Oh.
Let's all think about everybody. Everybody listening.
All at once. All you listeners out there suddenly start thinking about Tanya touching Tanya's feet.
That's just creepy now.
I'm just going to go to tinyasfeet.com. And
there it is.
That domain name is available for sale.
Okay.
Tinyasfeet.com. Let's see.
Oh, geez, Dad's checking to see if it exists.
The site can't be reached. Oh,
okay. No.
Not without a password.
And a subscription.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
At our contributor level on our Patreon, you now have access to Tanya'sFeet.com. Wow, this conversation just...
I don't think I would go to fund the convention. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
So Dan, where's your list of questions?
Save us, Dan. Save us.
All right, give me a number.
42. Wait,
on that one.
Have we?
Yeah, we did that. 42 because that number's so prevalent in our conversations.
How about we just do 43? Here we go.
Very good.
If you could give your best friend a tattoo in their sleep, what would you ink them with?
And here's a caveat. You have to also put in and where.
Oh, man. So,
oh my God.
Is it my female best friend or my male best friend? Because
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Your best friend.
Oh, man.
In other words, what would the tattoo be? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you ink them with?
Okay.
In this,
Well, the question is, would I be really, really cruel or would I be really nice?
You're not capable of cruelty on that level, on that permanent kind of level.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think I could, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I did something like that, because I wouldn't necessarily want it done to me. Well, to be funny, just to be funny, I would probably find Anne's got like a dandelion on her foot with all the little dandelion stuff blowing off and things like that. I knowing her hatred and her fear of gnomes, I might want to have just a little teeny tiny gnome holding that dandelion on her foot. Knowing that she'd look down and be freaked out every single time that she'd look at it. So it's not like super, super cruel or evil, but it's kind of super cruel and evil. I think that's about the worst that I could possibly go.
Because I know who the victim would be in this case. So Dan, I want to know what you have in store. I already have 2 ideas for you, by the way. So
I'm not sure. I could put a picture of my face on you.
No, because then the rest of us have to look at it. I don't know if we can do that. We love you, Dan, but I don't know if we love you that much.
How about you, Billy? Do you have any real quick thoughts? Because there's further conversation here spinning around between Dan
just
and I.
Quickly, my first instinct was to go nice, and something that binds me, my best friend, we both love Bruce Springsteen. So I'm thinking like the portrait of Bruce and Clarence from the Born to Run album.
Oh, cool.
Somewhere, I'm like on his arm or something. Because I didn't go joke in my head for once. I actually went something that would connect he and I.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So that's mine. So now you two go make fun of each other some more.
Well, I'll be honest. As soon as the question was asked, my brain did wander in several different directions. But the first thing I searched down is when Dan woke up, he would look down at the interior of his left forearm, and he would see a quote: "I've learned to have a sense of humor about myself. Lord knows everyone else does." Debbie Gibson. Right? And, a nice little kind of a cool quote from his favorite artist, I think, would be kind of cool for him. Right. But of course, so, because it's me, my brain also went a tattoo on his ass saying "some assembly required."
That's very funny. Kind of mean, but not so.
And like I said, I'm embracing my position as best friend, where I have to be the moral support, but in the most off-color way fashion possible.
I like that. That works.
Also, back in the day when he and I first, were becoming best friends, when the two of us were spending a lot of time together and really realizing we truly enjoyed each other's company, because we're the 2 tallest members of our particular, friend group, we started calling ourselves the 2 Towers, right? And and we always had this idea of like this emblem that would be the twin towers of New York, with Wile E. Coyote standing between them, kind of like embracing them like a couple of buddies, because it seemed like very indicative of the strength of the towers, but they were the 2 towers, and then Wile E. Coyote, because his life was so wild and weird, but he was always having fun, at least, so that kind of be the thing. And then we were afraid of it for a while, especially after 9/11. We stopped even saying it. We had a little chant and everything we used to make ourselves laugh over, but we avoided it because, out of respect to what had happened. But we've kind of circled back around to that a little bit more, and we're a little more willing to embrace that whole sense of humor that we had about it and whatnot. But so maybe I would have done that too. But I think because it's meaningful to him, I know how much Debbie Gibson and her music and her personality, means to him, because he's been such a fan over the years.
And I was live with her last night.
Yes, I remember you showing me.
I was on a Zoom with her live last night. So
now, was it just you, or
no? It was a bunch of us. Yeah, a bunch of the diehard fans there. Yes,
that's cool. Deb heads.
Yes.
And the fact that it came from me, I thought would be a cool gesture. So, his best friend hooking him up with his favorite thing, that's the thing. But then, of course, some assembly required pops up in my head, and that's,
they both work.
But yeah, that'd be hilarious to be like, kind of like wake up and you know, I was always thinking about getting the supernatural tattoo on my chest just above my left breast, because like Sam has,
Mhm.
because people, when my hair is really long and I'm wearing a flannel shirt, people start calling me Sam Winchester for some stupid reason, and I'm the old, out of shape version of Sam Winchester. But I was thinking that would be kind of neat. Um, yeah, or kind of funny. I wake up, I look in the mirror, and there's Dan's face looking back at me. Like, wait, Dan!
The anti-possession tattoo did not work.
Yeah, no, wait. This is not what I had in mind, Daniel.
Uh,
I just imagine, thousands of years later, an archaeologist finds my grave site and digs me up and goes, "This must have been an icon of his god or something."
mummified skin, and the tattoo survives.
Uh,
Oh,
Now for Tanya, because Tanya is my other absolute dearest best friend. Well, Tanya and Scott, and Billy, and well, everybody. I love everybody, but for Tanya, I would probably do like music notes, like down the ankle that doesn't have a tattoo. Well, actually, no, it's both of them now, isn't it?
yep.
Okay, so down the ankle that has the flower tattoo on it, right? So I do like music notes interlaced with some of the words from Rhiannon, because I know how much you love Fleetwood Mac and uh,
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks. Thank you. My God, I couldn't think of her name for a moment. I could see her, in her gorgeous stealth, with all of her flowy bohemian stuff. So I would do like this whole Rhiannon. Dun, 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 dun. So that would be like some of the notes, and so that'd be tracing down your ankle into your foot. But of course, on the other hand, it would also be since you'd be asleep, you wouldn't have felt it. It would be on the bottom of your feet. It would be touch here.
Oh, well, can you imagine me walking? I'd feel it all the time.
Which you can see at tanyasfeet.com for the low price.
Oh, boy.
Billy, I think for Billy, if I had an opportunity to get a tattoo for Billy, I would want to do something different. He talked about Springsteen, and music is such a huge thing for Billy. So I would find an authentic ticket from the original Woodstock and have that put on like the same spot I would have for Dan, like that interior left forearm, like where Tanya has her vines and everything, because that'd be kind of a cool, like the actual ticket for Woodstock in a perfect representation, like the ultimate music festival.
Now, if you want to hear something cool, just a little spin on that, Woodstock actually took place on my 4th birthday.
Really?
August 15th was when it was like the middle day of Woodstock. I was born on August 15th, 1965, which was the day that the Beatles played at Shea Stadium.
Okay.
And which makes perfect sense for me too, because I'm a big Beatles fan. I'm a New York Mets fan who spent 50 years playing at Shea Stadium.
Uh-huh.
So I keep wanting to get a copy of that poster, the Beatles at Shea Stadium on August 15th, 1965, which is my birthday. But yes,
my birthday.
Woodstock was on my 4th birthday.
That's so cool. See, so that would be kind of neat. I think that'd be a great kind of a tribute, kind of a cool thing. So.
This isn't part of the question, but I don't have any tattoos. What tattoo you have given yourself a tattoo or gotten a tattoo for yourself. I've always wondered, sort of like, if I did get a tattoo, what would it be? And Dan, do you have tattoos or?
I don't. I can't think of what I'd want to do.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with like the one idea or combination or what I want to do, because there's too many ideas I want to put into it, type of thing.
There's too many things I like. That's why I always say I like T-shirts. That way, if I feel like a superhero that day, or a cartoon, or sports, or music, I can just change T-shirts as opposed to having one tattoo to represent me forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. That's exactly. There's so much stuff that I love, that I've loved for so long, that I would. It's like, well, I can get a lot of tattoos, but I don't know if I can find out.
As the joke one I've always wanted is Joel and the two bots looking at the big screen with like a monster on it, like across my whole back.
That's awesome.
Well,
That's hilarious.
I got my first tattoo in August after I turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
So my first one is the Pisces symbol, represented not as the fishes, but the other version of my zodiac sign
with the crescent moons and stuff, right?
Yeah, it looks like the crescent moons. It looks like an H, which is interesting because my maiden name is Harris. So therefore, it kind of represents where I've come from, things like that. And the tattoo artist put her favorite type of flower that she'd like to draw and design and stuff throughout it, and she did it with my favorite colors of blues and purples and things like that. And then a couple years later, I got the Celtic knot because I've always been drawn to the Celtic knot. I wasn't sure why, but I just had been drawn to it, and that was something that I had loved and things like that. Before I found out that my ancestry is I'm Irish and English. So now I understand why I've been always drawn to that Celtic knot, and I wear a Trinity knot on my necklace, and now I've got the trichura on my arm with the similar flowers that are on my ankle. And the same artist did both my ankle and my left arm.
And a wonderful job too. I mean, they're beautiful.
And then the last one is totally the impulsive. Yes, I'm gonna go for it. In regards the baby Yoda, and I wanted, like, Anne went for it on her forearm because her right arm is all Star Wars, whereas I'm just like, I at least can hide mine with a pair of socks and a pair of jeans. Even though right now between my socks, my jeans, you can't. You could actually see Baby Yoda because I have low socks on and my jeans are a little shorter. But I did it. Is it my Etsy me? Oh, Dan sent something. We'll see that in a second. I thought he was telling me my chair was squeaky. I'm trying not to squeak my chair. The last one was last February. It was impulsive. Anne's like, let's go for it. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And we did it. And I think it just jumped into my love for Baby Yoda type thing. So
I was about to ask, because for a second there, it sounded almost like you had a hesitancy, like your buyer's remorse over the Yoda tattoo.
No, I'm like, I'm kind of a little upset with myself that I had them change the mouth to be more of like smiling rather than grumpy or whatever. But it looks mischievous, most likely. But I can't really see it. I can, unless I angle my foot just the right way in my leg. But no, I think it definitely needs more shading. But I don't know if I can ever go back into that part of my leg again because it hurt.
Aww.
So, and I do want a fourth. So,
May the fourth be with you.
Yeah, it's not going to be May the fourth be with me. It would be some type of combination of an infinity symbol with things like that. That's the one that I've been thinking about for years. So,
gotcha.
I just don't know where. So one question got us to like 20 minutes of a discussion.
I'm telling you, we're good at material.
You never know what the question will bring up, so
I no kidding. Yeah. What did Dan send us?
A Beatles ticket.
Oh, okay. Vintage Beatles concert poster, Shea Stadium. Cool.
Because we was just talking about Stat.
Yep. I want that. Okay, should we do enough? Did everyone answer the question?
Pretty sure. Yeah, I think we have. We're all good. And so, of course, listeners, dears, we love you very much, and we want to hear your input on that. So if you had an opportunity to design a tattoo for your best friend, or talk to us about ink that you want to get for yourself, too. I mean, because, we want to hear what you guys are up to. I have ink also. I don't know if we'd mentioned that or not. I think people knew that. but I have a phoenix on the back of my right shoulder that has the initials of my kids' names ingrained in the wings. So it's kind of neat.
And that was a long time in coming.
Yeah, I started talking about it when, we were in college. When I
It was
first
a
started talking
long
about
time,
doing
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I only have had it now for about 2.5 years, I think, at this point.
And has it
Yeah.
always been a phoenix?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at first, I think for the first 2 weeks, I wanted to get like a really cool stylized dragon because I was into Dungeons and Dragons. I was into the Renaissance Festival, things like that. But then, very quickly, it
evolved.
It evolved because my personal symbols, I've always seen as a bit of a phoenix because I've had so many situations where things have not quite worked out or things have failed miserably, and yet I still managed to find a way to keep moving and growing and things like that. So it just kind of, it appealed to me. It spoke to me, so.
See, Chris, I'm surprised you haven't gotten like a TARDIS or the Smiley Fate, the Hitchhiker's Guide.
To the Galaxy
yeah.
thing. And, and to be fair, I've thought about it, but for me, I don't foresee myself being a tattoo addict, not like Wheeze, obviously,
Or Sybil.
or Sybil. And so I want to keep my fandoms close to me, but that's always felt like it almost, and this is my personal opinion. So if I don't want to insult anybody because everybody makes their own choices and I respect that. But it always felt like it was too silly. And silly might not be the word I'm really looking for at the moment.
No, I know what you mean because I think it's similar to why I don't have a Mets tattoo or a Batman tattoo. Or
right.
Something.
It's fandom tattoos. I know when people put them on themselves that it's because it's a strong purpose there. And so I respect that completely. I absolutely do. But for me, my personality, it was just, I knew that I wasn't going to get into a tattoo artist chair all that often, if ever, to be honest. Right. And if I do it, I want it to be artistic. I want it to be, meaningful to something more than just something, something I like in passing, something that's a fandom of mine. Because honestly, if I would, and then I'd have a ton of D&D tattoos and a couple of Doctor Who tattoos, I'd probably have like a Starfleet Delta on my chest somewhere along the line for the comm badge. And that's all well and good, but it's not my thing. It's not my style. So I wanted one. I may get another one somewhere along the line. And that's that. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Just like Billy, he has T-shirts.
Yeah.
I do. I have quite a few of them. And I have a whole ton of Debbie Gibson quotes on my screen right now. Oh, there they are. Okay.
You see, I like so many different things. It'd be hard to put it into one tattoo. Or I don't want it to be covered with tattoos.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're like Disney and like. What would a running tattoo be? I guess because I'm
Mickey running. I can do it. Mickey. Mickey because
True.
they do the Disney Marathon. There's images of that around. I can Mickey running. But I love Debbie Gibson. I've loved it forever. I had put her in there too, and and whatever shows it's just like where do I draw the line? So yeah, I don't know.
So just like Chris and Billy, Dan's got T-shirts.
Yeah.
Because
without T-shirts, we each have like 100 tattoos.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it as that's that art where you really want to be dead sure what you're, what you want on you at that point.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that got a Bill Cosby tattoo when the Cosby Show was popular.
Thank you very much. That's a very valid point.
People have asked me why I don't have a Niners tattoo, and I'm like, I have Niners T-shirts because one, I never would kind of figure out where I'd want to place a Niners tattoo. So that's why I was just like, I don't know because they might be my favorite football team, but I'm not like die hard where I know all their stats and all that type of stuff. I'm not that deep into the football fandom. So
you don't live and breathe them.
No.
Right.
But you there, yeah.
I said the probability of us talking about tattoos today was about the same probability as that one lady winning the Powerball.
No kidding. It
see?
just so happened that was the question that came up, and it, by no means are we putting anybody down that has their fandom tattoos. Absolutely
Oh yeah,
not.
no,
Because
because everybody makes
No,
decisions
'cause
on their own speed, right? Because
and I'm jealous of so many tattoos that I've seen. Like, oh my gosh, that is so
there's some
impressive
artwork
or
out there.
oh,
beautiful.
Like my dear friend Cindy, who lives out in California, in Southern California, she's got a very cool kind of like almost like a tribal line phoenix on her back, and she's wanted to add to it, and she showed me the picture, and it's the appointment's going to happen soon, and it's going to be this really huge piece. But the guy is this wonderful artist. It's going to be kind of like this cool. Um, it's going to almost be like line art to a particular degree, and it's just these blur of colors and everything. It's like holy cow, that should be on a painting.
Mm.
And so you have people out there who turn themselves into these walking canvases, and it's
mhm.
insanely amazing.
Mhm.
I'm just talking about my own personal opinion of what I want to do for myself. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
because over Christmas break I was binging Ink Master.
Uh-huh.
Just to watch the artistic capabilities of every single one of them, and I did not realize all the different styles of tattoos that were out there. Yeah, I knew like tribal and I knew floral, but
Hmm.
then there's traditional, and then there's um like new school, old school, and pinups, and just listening to all of them um, talking about what traditional tattoo versus new school, old school, and it's just amazing at their abilities and
Oh yeah.
their
Mhm.
artistic creativities and what they can come up to blend things.
Hmm.
I'm like I'm lucky if I can draw a stick figure. So
If people want, then somewhere along the line, Tanya and I will take pictures of our or have pictures taken over various ink, and we'll post them somewhere so people can see our tattoos. I for one, while we're talking about artists, real quick before we move on to another question, um, Tanya, I'll give you an opportunity to talk about the person who you've mentioned briefly did two of your three.
yes.
But the guy who did mine is Jason Ferguson, who has come to FC3 as an art vendor. And it was phenomenal to see his work because he gave me a couple rough sketches early on, be like, okay, I took some of your ideas and this is kind of what I'm thinking. What do you think? I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And he was so attentive and so just so into it, and he's got our spirit, right? Because he's a power nerd just like the rest of us. When I came over, he wanted to be able to distract me as best as possible, so we had Deep Space Nine on in the background. We're watching Star Trek, we're talking about Star Wars, we're shooting the shit, and he knew when he was hitting some of the more touchy spots, and so he's really starting to ask me questions to get me talking, and just a consummate professional and a
Mhm.
hell of a guy, absolute hell of a guy. If you ever get a chance to chat with him, so I would highly recommend him. And Tanya, and you said the same person did 2 years a week.
Yeah, two of mine. It was out at the Ultimate on West Henrietta Road, which is right across from Delta Sonic. Her name is Sue. Um, she was awesome and amazing, and Deanna went with me for both of those appointments.
And Deanna has ink too, doesn't she?
Deanna has I think two that I know of. She's got the number 8, the stylized slanted 8 from Dale Jr. on
Hmm.
her left arm,
Hmm.
upper bicep type thing. Um, and I want to say I think she has a Steelers one.
Hmm.
On her other arm, and she's always been talking about a third one, but that she can't like narrow it down specifically. And I remember having a conversation with her that she wanted to do like a bracelet around her wrist, like a stylized bracelet, and then that looked like a charm bracelet. Then she
Hmm.
could add to it with like her favorites.
Hmm.
Add to like the little tattoo would be like
Like little
another
charms.
charm added
Yeah,
to the
that's
bracelet.
a neat idea. Yeah.
It was an awesome idea, but she just couldn't from what I understand, she just couldn't narrow down when and where and what to do, that type of
Mm.
thing. But I know we've had conversations, and it's funny because Deanna has been my influence for my first two, and somehow my mom blames Sean. So my mom blames Sean for that, and Sean's like, I have nothing to do with it. he'll just needle her and just suggest something or post something to my page about, hey, this should be your next tattoo. And then 2 seconds later on my Facebook page, my mom's yelling at Sean in capital letters and stuff like that. And
That's hilarious.
Sean went with me for my third one because Ann and I went to a place down the street from your house, Chris.
Okay.
And it was at like 5:00 at night. It was snowy and a little sketchy, so we just brought Sean with us to be.
Thanks. I love how you just described the neighborhood I live in.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I know exactly where it is too.
Well, they're not particular your street or whatever, but the shop. It's like
no, you're backtracking now.
Yeah,
Anna and I had a contact high coming out of the shop, so
I'm pretty sure she called you sketchy, Chris.
Yeah, she's not. I won't forget that.
And then Sean and I were going to the movies afterwards. Anyway, I can't remember. I think did we see a Rambo: Last Blood?
I don't know. I wasn't with you.
I think I want to say we saw the last Rambo movie, but no. And Kevin did this one, and Kevin is Ann's tattoo person, and he was so excited that he didn't have to do another heart or crown or flower or anything that everyone just comes in to get a quick thing. He goes, that when Anne sent him the drawing of Baby Yoda, which is now Grogu, he goes, he was absolutely over the moon in regards to it, because he did her heart-shaped Death Star that she drew. So he was just so happy to be tattooing something else other than like the traditional type stuff. But
all right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do another question for Question of the Week stuff. But before we do, I just want you to think of this one through. Just think this one through real quick. If we could go back in time and give Ricardo Montalban a tattoo of the plane on his arm. On so many levels that works. Doesn't it? Come on, that works on so many levels right there. No?
No, wouldn't that be tattoo? Not Ricardo Montalban? It would be the little guy.
Well, no, there's it's called ironic humor.
Oh, I didn't get that reference in regards to that.
It's just a step closer to British, I think.
Oh boy!
It is my tattoo.
I just took a sip of my Coke right there, and my screen nearly wore it.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got one more question left in our tanks for today, and then we're going to move on and find some other things to talk about, probably next week or so, something like that. But anyway, be back.
The Cruel Shoes. Anna knew she had to have a new pair of shoes today, and Carlo had helped her try on every pair in the store. Carlo spoke wearily. Well, that's it. That's every pair of shoes in the place. Oh, you must have one more pair. No, not one more. Well, we have the Cruel Shoes. But no one would want to try. Yes, let me see the Cruel Shoes. No, you don't understand. You see, the Cruel Shoes are... Get them. Carlo disappeared into the back room for a moment and then reappeared carrying an ordinary shoebox. He took off the lid and removed a hideous pair of black and white pumps. But this was not an ordinary hideous pair of black and white pumps. Both were left feet. One had a right-angled turn in it with separate compartments that pointed the toes in impossible directions. The other shoe was 6 inches long and was curved inward like a rocking chair with a vise and razor blades to hold the foot in place. Carlo spoke hesitantly. Now you see, they're not fit for humans. Put them on me. But put them on me. Carlo knew all arguments were useless. He knelt down before her and forced her feet into the shoes. The screams were incredible. Anna crawled over to the mirror and held her bloody feet up where she could see. I like them! She paid Carlo and crawled out of the store into the street. Later that day, Carlo was overheard saying to a new customer, "Well, that's it. That's every pair of shoes in the place. Unless, of course, you'd like to try the cruel shoes."
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, and all points in between. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon, morning, evening, whichever happens to be, weekend, weekday, inside, upside down.
Period of time.
Period of time in this existential nightmare called life. So, anyway, that was fun though. That was. It's always interesting to see how our conversations don't quite go where they're supposed to.
But they go somewhere.
Is when we didn't actually prep for doing this episode, when we tried to prepare for this episode, and then we couldn't do this episode because technology, and then Dan just gave us a question.
Because of reasons.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the thing. I'm sure that in time we'll become the well-oiled machine, but for now, we're bad at this.
You know, it's the technology piece that keeps throwing us for a loop. That with it would have been a lot easier if we weren't in the pandemic, because then we would have been all in the same in the same room, same person, recording to one computer instead of having 4 or 5 computers going at the same time.
Fair.
And dropped internet connections and things like that. And,
oh yeah, it's
Yep. Yeah.
But for now, friends.
But we're making it do. We're still moving forward, even with all this fun stuff. So
yeah. But for now, this is the way.
Mm-hmm. This is the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's do we'll do another question as a question of the week, because we always tail off our episodes like that. We'll rip through a little bit quicker on this one. If it leads to a bigger podcast conversation, we'll table it to another week. I'm not sure if we did it, but in honor of our new presidency, let's pick number 46.
Okay, just in the same area. Oh, we did 46 already.
Oh, did we do 46? Which one was it?
That was, would you rather always have to sing instead of speaking, or dance everywhere you went?
Oh God, I don't remember that. Well, I think I said I would sing. I'm not a good dancer.
Just because I can't sing doesn't mean I won't sing, but I'll also dance. So
well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Then let's go with 64. Turn it around.
That's funny. I was thinking that.
What's the most useful thing you own?
Wow.
Ooh. Who got to come up with these questions? Jeez.
The most useful thing that you own.
Definitely not a cat.
They own you. You're the most useful thing that they own. The most useful thing that I own.
I was going to say the microwave, but I don't even use the microwave that much.
These days, for me, it's my phone. I mean, I drive so much stuff off of it, which is, it's good or bad, I don't know, but it's what it is.
Actually, that's, in my case, my version of the phone is the Kindle. You can shop on it. You can research things on it, learn, entertain yourself.
Yeah.
Listen to things, watch stuff. So mine may be my Kindle.
Yeah.
That's valid. That's valid. How about you, Tanya Fabulous?
I had a couple of different things that went through my head. The first thing would be like my daily hygiene products. They're very useful. like soap and toothpaste. That was my first thought, and then my second thought was my bed, because we're going back to that deserted island, and I was bringing my bed for like the flotation device.
There you go.
Because I didn't necessarily jump to my phone initially. I mean, yeah, it's useful, but I think I'm gonna go back to just the daily hygiene products, because the soap and the toothpaste and everything helps keep me healthy. So that would probably be the most useful things that I currently have in the house. But the owner I just use.
That's very practical.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say my house. It is the most useful thing I own, because it place to put my stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
And the words
rain
of
on
George
my head.
Carlin. It's a place for your stuff.
You ever
Mhm.
notice how everybody else's shit is, or everybody else's stuff is shit, and all of your shit is stuff?
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Short
was an
and
easy one to
sweet.
get through quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a wrapperoo then. I think we pretty much can wrap this thing up, and we'll call it a week. And we will see you guys again next week. We'll talk to you again next week. Dan, you're going to be out next time, yeah?
I don't know. We'll see what happens after this
Okay.
surgery. So we'll see what happens during next summer. It's not summer. Sunday.
We're gonna take a temporary prediction that Dan might not be available for all the valid reasons next week, but we're gonna be
Supposed to be
cheering
up
for
and
you,
moving
brother.
along soon. So I mean, it's
Mhm.
it's just they gotta So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll be cheering for you. We'll be pulling for you. I'll be checking in on you as much as I can, as often as I possibly can.
Mhm.
And so that's a thing. That's a wrap. And so for Dan and for Tanya, for Billy, for myself, this is where I'm going to say, "Hey Dan,
Hey Chris.
hey Dan,
Hey Chris.
hit it." This has been Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic-Con, coming at you in 2021, September 25th and 26th at the Total Sports Experience in Gates. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys have a great week. Have a safe week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Dun dun.
Oh yeah, dun dun. I actually got caught listening.